Hello everyone, my name is Makayla and welcome to an MBTI video, which I haven't done in a long time. I have just arrived back in my dorm, as you can see, and I have come home for winter quarter of college. I literally just flew back in a few hours ago, so I've been cleaning this whole time and trying to get it done quick enough so I can film this video before the lighting goes away. But I was also waiting for my radiator to stop making noise, and it would not stop. It's just been like gurgling this whole time. You might have a little bit of radiator noises in the background. And my fridge just turned on too, so now we've got two appliances in here that are just making noise. So I'm so sorry about that, but I wanted to talk about how to motivate each MBTI type. So if you're feeling very unproductive and you don't know how to get started on your work, or you just don't feel like doing your work, this is tailored to your personality type, and this is just based off of like what I understand of each MBTI type and their cognitive functions, like what I think would most motivate them to get their work done, I guess. Alright, so here we go. Let's start with ISFP. For an ISFP, I would suggest taking a creative approach. So let's say you're trying to tackle a problem. Maybe it's a work problem, maybe it's a schoolwork assignment. You know, it doesn't have to be just studying, but I think that the ISFP would be most motivated if they do it at a creative approach, because it's well known or stereotypical. I mean, maybe those are synonymous in this context. The ISFPs are artistic people in general, and artistic can mean many different things. It doesn't necessarily mean sketching and painting, you know, it just means kind of abstract thinking. And I know it sounds vague, but I think the best advice I'd have for, you know, even beginning to find a creative way to do something is thinking outside the box. So like if you usually do this particular assignment a certain way, how can you do it a different way? You know, how can you leave that sort of routine and do it in a way that you've never done before to spice it up or whatever? For the ISFJ is someone who often feels a sense of duty. I think it's just combined with their introverted sensing as their dominant function. They've got auxiliary extroverted feeling, which combined gives them a sense of duty towards like other people. So maybe like if they want to get into a motivated state of mind, maybe they'll start with a task on their list of things to do that helps other people. So if they wanted to make cookies, you know, just to have a dessert on hand, maybe they do that because that's something that you can do for other people and give out cookies to other people. This is a very weird example, but I think that if you want to get like into the right frame of mind to get something done, I think that that might be helpful to the ISFJ, like by doing something that they like doing, but it's getting something done, if that makes sense. ISTP, I'm going back to my favorite stereotype for them because MBTI, as we all know, is full of stereotypes, and that is the only reason I'm able to make these videos. Doing it outside. If you have something that you're dreading to do, like for example, filling out the FAFSA form for the 2022-2023 academic year, may go outside and do it out there if it's nice out and you have the space to do it outside. I think that getting that vitamin D is very good for the ISTP because they're such reserved individuals that it's important for them to have the vitamin D. I think I'm really losing any credibility right here with the statement I just made, so I'm going to move on. For the ISTJ, I'd recommend getting a comforting ambiance. ISTJ's dominant function is introverted sensing, and that means that they often use the past to help them in the present. So I think that if you have something that reminds you of when you were feeling energetic or happy or motivated, that can help you in the present moment to do well. So for example, maybe you have really fond memories at a beach, then maybe play some wave ambiance as you do your work. It might stimulate your senses, which for the ISTJ, who has a sensing function as their dominant function, can be very helpful. For the ENTJ, whose dominant function is extroverted thinking, they need to be organized if they're going to do something, whether that's physically or mentally. So I would just recommend organizing their desk space, because if they do that, they're going to be more motivated to actually get work done, because I just don't know many ENTJs who are able to work in a messy environment, so I'd strongly recommend doing that to get motivated. This one's gonna sound like it's for a little kid, but the ENTP, like, organize breaks for fun time. That really sounds like I'm talking to a child. I think that it could be a lot of help for the ENTP. Their minds with their extroverted intuition are constantly jumping from topic to topic. If you want to get work done, you've got to work in the same way that your brain thinks. Like, if you try to sit down and do hours of homework and your brain doesn't work like that, you're not going to do well. Like, I think you just need to, like, follow suit with what your mind wants you to do. And maybe not all ENTPs are like this, of course, but I think if you, like, insert a lot of breaks to maybe play a board game with family, or, you know, go outside and go for a jog, like whatever it is that's fun to you, do a lot of those as increments throughout your work period to help motivate you. ENFJ, devise a reward system. I don't really know what my reasoning is here, except that I just picture it working for the ENFJ. I'm so sorry. I hate it when I don't have a very good reason for my answer, and I really don't have one right here. If you tell yourself, oh, I'm gonna have a slice of cake once I've finished this document. Just like coming up with a reward system. For the ENFP has extroverted intuition, and this means that they are constantly brainstorming, seeking out new information. Their mind is always jumping from one topic to the next very rapidly. So combined with the fact that their auxiliary function is introverted feeling, is that right? Yes, introverted feeling. I think it's good to like stimulate the emotions repeatedly to get motivation. So, I mean, go see something new is basically the gist of this. Go see a new museum, go to a new beach, go somewhere new, because for the ENFP, when you get to see these new sights that you haven't seen before, it's like literally stimulating your brain, because that's how you're so wonderful with your extroverted intuition, is that you're able to receive and take in new things rapidly and adapt to them. So if you give yourself those opportunities to see new things, I think it could be very inspiring for you in whatever sense of the word that means for you, whether you're doing creative work or even analytical work. Inspiration can come from all sorts of new things. The ESFP is kind of known for their sense of style, at least according to some websites that I've perused in the past, but this is primarily due to the fact that they have extroverted sensing as their dominant function, which means they're very aware of the world around them. They also have introverted feeling as their auxiliary function. So combined, they just have like this aptitude for knowing when they feel good about themselves. So I think that you could motivate yourself as an ESFP if you make sure you're feeling good about yourself, and by that I mean having the proper hygiene, like shower and get dressed fancy even, because that can put in the mindset of getting work done when you dress fancy, and that might motivate you as an ESFP. For the ESFJ, collaborate with a friend. ESFJs are just very social usually, and they feed off of other people. They're so outgoing, and I think that if they have other people to bounce ideas off of because of their extroverted feeling dominant function, this could help them to be motivated, because they almost can commiserate with the people around them if they're all doing the same task. Even if the tasks are different from one another, just having other people to do something with might be helpful for them. ESTP, I literally, on my document here, I just wrote 2 words for ESTP: move around. That's very pathetic. Move around, I mean, the ESTP has extroverted sensing as their dominant function, and also a thinking auxiliary function. Because of this, I think that even though they're extroverts, the best way to accommodate both of these functions is to do some exercise. So that could just be going for a brisk walk if you're not into exercising, because again, like, all ESTPs are not the same. And it could be as vigorous as going for a 10-mile run, whoever likes doing that. So the point is getting exercise stimulates the ESTP's extroverted dominant sensing, but at the same time, it gives them that time to think and to process things and analyze it in their minds, because they do have a very strong thinking function as well. And that combination can really come through when they move around. ESTJ, this one's a little bit more straightforward. Write a list of everything you want to get done, because their dominant function is extroverted thinking, and that means organization. Their secondary function is a sensing one, so the act of physically like writing things down that they need to do can be very motivating to them. INTJ, this one's going to seem stereotypical, so don't come at me, but I'm an INTJ, and I picked this for myself in hopes that other INTJs would agree with me. Go to some place that like strikes your interest and is quiet to get stuff done. I think that's most motivating. So for me, it would be like going to a silent library that has books everywhere, because I really like books. So it doesn't have to be a library. I'm just saying library because I know that's kind of like the exemplary INTJ thing, is libraries and books, but I don't want to get too stereotypical here, so that's why I'm saying just go to a quiet place that's similar to a library. Anything like that along those lines I think are just very motivating, because INTJ has a dominant function of introverted intuition, and quiet is going to help them with that, so that they can like feel like they're actually thinking and getting things done, or else it'll be harder for them to feel motivated. So the INTP has very strong introverted thinking as their dominant function. And I think that the best way to stimulate that in order to get them motivated is to literally like force analysis upon yourself. Watch a TED Talk or listen to a podcast or something, because that can motivate you. Like, hearing the logic of other people will get your brain thinking. And when your brain like starts moving and thinking about those ideas and analyzing them, it might make you more motivated to take on your own problems. INFP, introverted feeling is their dominant function, so I chose just music and earbuds for their motivation. Specifically, like, choose lyrics or moods, genres of songs that suit what you need for motivation. Because your introverted feeling like kind of absorbs emotion and other things, if you're listening to songs that have motivational emotion, I think that you'll be able to easily pick that up and then transfer it to your own work. And then finally, the INFJ. INFJs are introverted, but they connect really well with people because of their dominant introverted intuition plus their auxiliary extroverted feeling. So combined, I think it might be a good idea for them to watch a television show. And I know this sounds very counterintuitive because if you're trying to get motivated, why sit down and watch television? So I'm not saying like watch a whole movie, but if you watch just one episode of something you like that has characters you really idolize, that can help you to feel connected to people without draining your social battery. And it might make you more motivated to get done what you need to get done if you've had that time to recharge and just feel motivated by your favorite characters. So maybe that'll work for the INFJ. Alright, that is it for the 16 MBTI types and how they can be most motivated. Thank you so much for watching. I'll probably be uploading later in this week a vlog because I'm back on campus now. So subscribe if you want to stick around for that. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.